So Mahavir, waiting period is like the most common thing in health insurance, right? So could you please tell the audience about all the waiting periods?
So yeah, there are almost like 4 or 5 types of waiting periods that are there in a policy. These are basically, in a way, they could also be called time-bound exclusions, meaning there are exclusions, but they are there for a certain period of time,
Certainly.
which after that they basically stop.
Hmm.
So the first waiting period that people should know about is the 30-day waiting period for sickness-related claims when you first buy the policy, right? So it's called a 30-day waiting period. When you buy the policy for the first time, then the first 30 days you can make only accidental claims. You
Okay.
cannot make claims for any kind of sickness. So for example, if I bought the policy on 1st of March and 15th of March, let's say I've got malaria or dengue or something like that, then, and if I'm getting hospitalized, then that will not be covered under health insurance when you first time buy the policy. The first time when you buy the policy, there is a warm-up period where for 30 days you cannot make any sickness-related claims.
Okay.
The second could be certain policies could have waiting periods added for diabetes, hypertension kind of diseases for the first 90 days. Right. So
Okay.
when you buy the policy, if you did not have diabetes or hypertension or let's say any kind of heart disease, then the insurance company says even then we will not cover any treatment related to diabetes and hypertension for the first 90 days when you buy the
Okay.
policy.
Okay.
Right? And we will start covering only after 90
90
days. So
days.
if someone has, let's say, bought the policy today and 30 days may, let's say we are talking about 1st March and by 15th of March that person has got dengue, that will not get covered. But 30th ke baad, 1st April, if that person has got dengue, then that will be covered. Now in the second situation, where you are talking about a customer who's bought a policy on 1st of March, before that, if that person did not have any diabetes, any hypertension, and the policy says that diabetes and hypertension has a 90-day waiting period, then from 1st March to 31st of March will be first month, 1st April to 30th April, and 1st May to 30th May, 31st May, I think. That whatever, when the 90 days
90
get
days,
complete,
basically.
after that,
First-
the
from 1st
claims for 1st June almost, the claims for hypertension, diabetes, and some other diseases can start getting covered.
Okay.
Right? So this is the second waiting period. The third waiting period is the most important for people to know and the most not understood waiting period of all the waiting periods that we are going to speak about. It is called the 2-year waiting period for specific diseases or specific treatments.
Okay.
Right? There is a list of treatments or diseases which an insurance company says for the first 2 years I will not cover. Right? And it has nothing to do with whether you had that disease before you bought the policy or not. It is a list where an insurance company say कि ये अगर disease आपको होता है, if these diseases happen in the first 2 years, I am not paying claims for these. Right? So for example, kidney stone, hernia, urinary, I have this problem. I'm maybe because of the AC, but basically genitourinary conditions.
Okay.
Then let's say piles, right? And
Okay.
there is a long list like slip disc. All these specifically in the first 2 years, an insurance company will have that list saying that these diseases we will not cover.
Why?
Yeah, so typically an insurance company will go as per your declarations when you buy a policy and give you a policy, right? So proposal form भरते हो आप, उसमें
Yes.
बताते हो कि आपको existing diseases क्या है.
Yes.
And even further, an insurance company can do a medical test right? And find out what are the problems.
Got it.
Most of these diseases, and this is my own personal reading, is that are diseases which probably a customer also does not know that he has it in his body, and because of which he's not able to declare it when buying the policy.
Okay.
Or even if a test is done, these diseases cannot be found out. Right? A piles or a kidney stone. An insurance company is not doing a head-to-toe medical test anyways on your body, right? Even if they do a medical test, they'll do a vitals test. They'll do maybe some more additional test that they want to do.
Okay.
From that, they will come to know clearly about your well-being, right, and your health conditions. But they don't do a head-to-toe test,
Okay.
right? So like a slip disc is not going to be a test, right? Or hernia is not going to be a test. I'm not doing a full body MRI for me to know kahan pe hernia hua hai. So these things, typically you look at the list, are, according to my own reading, are diseases which an insurance company couldn't have detected at the time of even if they did a medical test.
Okay.
And probably the customer also does not know about these when the policy is bought. So typically what they have done is, because the customer will not be able to declare, the insurance company will not be able to detect because of medical test, they have said that ये वाले diseases जो है ना ऐसे वाले, इनको हम लोग 2 year का waiting period डालते हैं and then only we'll cover.
But piles I would know ना, मतलब whatever you said, I'll know those things, right? So if I had, I'll know it. So if I declare, then also like that 2 year waiting period.
If you declare piles when you buy the policy, then there will be a waiting period for pre-existing diseases, not 2 year waiting period.
Okay.
Right? These are those which you probably did not know, or probably something that you could have hidden.
Okay.
Right? Because of there being no way to find out for an insurance company that you had it before buying the policy. So an insurance company is just protecting themselves कि अच्छा ये वाली जो diseases है, because we cannot detect, and neither can an insurance probably a customer also is not aware of, we'll put a 2 year waiting period. If the customer is aware of it, then there is a waiting period of 3 years, which is the waiting period for pre-existing diseases, which is the third waiting period that we had to speak about. Right?
Understood.
But before we go to the third waiting period, there is also a 3 year waiting period similar to a 2 year waiting period for certain treatments like knee replacement. Right? It also comes under 3 year waiting period for people who did not have the knee related problem when buying the policy. Right?
Okay.
But abhi, because now 3 year waiting period has become overlapping for this knee replacement surgery, and anyways pre-existing is also covered after 3 years, so it's slightly complicated. So anyways, even if you declare or do not declare, knee replacement is going to get covered after 3 years only, right? Similar to like I said, hernia or let's say piles gets covered after 2 years, knee replacement will get covered after 3 years. Again, in India, people delay their surgeries, and if you see in your own family also, you'll see someone or the other who's delaying a knee replacement surgery. So insurance companies are smart, they know. At the same time, you may not declare it and you may say कि अभी degenerate होना शुरू हुआ है after buying the policy. So how will the insurance company protect itself? So by saying that first 3 years में दूंगा ही नहीं, आप declare करो नहीं करो, right? So that is the thing. And then the pre-existing waiting period, which is basically all the diseases that you have declared when you are buying the policy, which were existing at the time of buying the policy or 3 years before you have bought the policy, are supposed to be coming under the definition of pre-existing diseases. Right? Any disease which got cured before 3 years of buying the policy are not even coming under the definition of pre-existing disease. Right? So suppose 5 साल पहले या 10 साल पहले I had, let's say, same I'll take basically, let's say slip disc, but it got completely cured 5 years ago only. I'm not taking any tablets since the last 3 years. I'm not taking any, I don't have any diagnosis, I don't have any treatment, no doctor consultation, no physio, nothing. Everything is okay the last 3 years. Then it does not even fall under the definition of pre-existing disease, and hence the waiting period, which is basically what we are talking about actually, 3 years of waiting period for pre-existing diseases after you have bought the policy will be applicable for all these defined pre-existing diseases. थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेट हो गया तो एग्जाम
एग्जांपल से समझते हैं थोड़ा.
हाँ, तो थोड़ा पहले डेफिनेशन को समझते हैं. ठीक है, एक एक करके जाते हैं. तो फर्स्ट थिंग इज अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज, देयर इज अ वेटिंग पीरियड कॉल्ड प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज वेटिंग पीरियड, व्हिच इज फॉर 3 years. ये पहले समझ लिया. अब ये प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज को किसको बोलेंगे? प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज, राइट? 20 साल पहले जो डिजीज हुआ है, कैन वी कॉल इट अ प्री एग्जिस्टिंग डिजीज? नो. So insurance regulator has basically put up a definition, standard definition for all insurance companies for this PED, which is that all diseases that are either diagnosed, treated, or symptoms were found in the last 3 years before buying the policy, that will fall under the definition of pre-existing diseases. Right? All those diseases, basically, when you buy the policy, will not be covered for the first 3 years. Right?
Got it.
That is how it is looked at. This is very different from what an insurance company asks you in the proposal form. The insurance company can ask you in the proposal form कि भाई तुम बताओ तुमको बचपन से क्या क्या disease. That is, they are profiling you as a customer and your health conditions, your history, and overall your habits and everything. That has nothing to do with this definition. That is for them to understand you as a profile. Right?
Got it.
And then from that, whatever is basically being diagnosed, treated, or symptoms were there in the last 3 years, that will basically have a waiting period of 3 years after buying the policy.
Okay, got it. Even if I have got, let's say, slip disc before 3 years before buying the policy, and will that come under PED?
Because so let's take such examples. Let's take it forward so that everybody else also listening to this can understand. The question is going to be 5 साल पहले, let's say someone had slip disc हुआ था. But last 3 years before buying the policy, there has been no treatment, no symptoms, nothing about that slip disc is happening in the last 3 years. Then it is not coming under the definition of PED,
Okay.
and hence it should not have a waiting period in the policy.
Okay, got it. And until unless it is not a specific disease,
हाँ,
मेरे को वेटिंग पीरियड होगा ही नहीं.
नहीं होना चाहिए.
बस 30 डेज का जो है वो रहेगा.
30 days, 2 years, what we spoke about, 30 days, 90 days, 2 years.
2 years.
All that will be there.
Okay.
But the waiting period for PED will not be there. So
Not
10 years ago, I had basically, let's say, kidney stone.
Okay.
Let's say 10 years. I was probably, let's say, we are talking about an individual who is 30 year when we were buying the policy. At 20, he was having kidney stone. वो पूरा क्योर हो गया. Everything is completely okay. The last 10 years, there have been no instances of kidney stone. Last 10 years, there has been no diagnosis, no test has shown kidney stone. Everything is fine, right? And now he's buying the policy. So he will have to mention that 10 years ago he has kidney stone. But the insurance company cannot put a waiting period on that because the definition of PED is the last 3 years before you bought the policy.
Okay. So it will fall under the specific disease if kidney stone is in
The diagnosis or the treatment or the symptoms were happening in the last 3 years when you bought the policy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Understood. So one thing which is coming to my mind is कि I will not declare, because if I declare it will come under PED. This is some crooked question, but if I'll not declare it will come under PED. If I'll declare it will come under PED. If I'll not declare it will come under specific disease. So I'll not declare and I'll reduce my waiting period by 1 year.
Yeah, but वही है, मतलब non-disclosure is basically considered to be one of the biggest crimes you can do in health insurance. And if an insurance company comes to know about that when at the time of claim that the history was before you bought the policy and you have not declared it, then your policy basically, one, your claim will never get paid. And your policy will get cancelled also to a large extent because the insurance company says that you did not give me all the information. So for an insurance company to cover you, the only reason they are able to cover you is, one is you're giving premium and the second is you're giving the right information. These are the two things that you're giving to an insurance company to decide whether to give you a policy or not.
Got it.
अगर आप ये दोनों चीज में से एक भी गलत कर रहे हो तो insurance company is not going to cover you.
महावीर, मुझे अभी भी नहीं समझ में आया, थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो रहा है. So let's take a one by one example.
Yeah. Sure.
So let's say कि I had hypertension before buying the policy, right? If I bought the policy, when will that be covered?
Right. So इसमें complication ये हो सकता है कि there is a policy that says that 90 days के बाद hypertension cover होगा.
Okay.
Right. But in your specific case, it will come under a pre-existing disease वाला definition.
Okay.
So it will be covered after 3 years. So it will be covered from the 4th year.
If I do not declare in the policy, then?
If you do not declare in the policy, then there are two things that can happen. If the insurance company comes to know, then obviously your policy can get cancelled and you may basically, meaning not have a claim and everything. If the insurance company does not come to know, चलो ऐसा भी scenario ले लेते तो फिर 90 days में cover हो रहा है आपका.
So let's take the example of kidney stone. Kidney stone तो curable है, right?
Yeah.
If I had the kidney stone within the 3 years of buying the policy, then what will happen?
That is a PED, right? It's a pre-existing disease as per the definition we spoke about. So it will be covered after 3 years. So 4th year onwards, it will be covered.
And what if I had it before 3 years of buying the policy, and then I bought the policy, and let's say I got the claim in the first year or the second year, let's say.
Correct.
Then what will happen?
So first question that I would ask you is that in the last 3 years when you bought the policy, did you have any kidney stone symptoms?
Nothing.
Diagnosis,
zero. It is curable.
Completely
it's cured. Yes, it's
right?
cured.
Then it will not come under the definition of pre-existing disease. So it will basically not have the waiting period of 3 years. But specified illnesses, which we spoke about, has a 2-year waiting period.
Okay.
Right? So this will come under the specified illness waiting period, and hence it can be covered only after the 3rd year. So you said that the hospitalization comes in the year 2, it will not be covered. Right? From year 3 it will get covered.
Okay.
For kidney stone to be covered, either if it is not existing when you buy the policy, then it will be covered on the 3rd year. If it is existing when you buy the policy, then it will be covered for the 4th year.
Okay. And okay, you said the scenario also. I was coming to that. I bought the policy, then I got kidney stone. So it will be covered after 2 years.
Yes.
Right? Which you said, right?
Yes.
Pointed out.
Now there is a disease which was not in the specified illness. And that happens after I buy the policy.
Then what will happen?
Then first 30 days, first year, it will not be covered.
Okay.
Then it will be covered.
It will be covered.
So for example, malaria. Malaria is not there in the specified illness list.
Okay.
Right. And I get malaria in the 2nd month of my buying a health insurance. So 30-day waiting period is over. It's not in the second 2 years waiting period list. It is not a pre-existing disease also, so it will be covered.
That's it. Thank you, Mahavir.
Yeah.